State calls Ms. Courtney Watkins. Ms. Watkins, please state your full name.
Courtney Joe Watkins.
And Ms. Watkins, you are requesting DNA testing in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
You're the mother of Gracie Terrio?
Yes, ma'am.
What is her date of birth?
12/8/15.
And you and Mr. Terrio sign an acknowledgement of paternity on or around her birthday?
We did.
And what is the reason you're requesting DNA tests in this case?
So the main reason is because I don't think it's right for him to ask or even be able to keep my daughter from me like he has been. I haven't seen my daughter in a while. Sorry, I haven't seen my daughter in a while. And I just don't think it's right for him to be able to ask for really whatever, anything he's asking for when he could potentially not even be the father.
But in regard.
Hello?
I think she's frozen right now. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So Ms. Watkins, why do you feel that there's a need for DNA testing at this time?
I just want to be sure that the man that is going to be keeping my daughter, because he's asking for sole custody, I just want to be sure that he is the father, because I do have doubts.
And what are your doubts?
I'm pretty sure he's not the father.
Why do you feel he's not the father?
Because we were together for 3 years before I got pregnant. And we never had even a pregnancy scare or anything. I ended up sleeping with another man, and then right after that I got pregnant.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
The state calls Mr. Justin Terrio. Please state your full name.
Justin Matthew Terrio.
And Mr. Terrio, you are the father of Gracie Joe Terrio?
Yes, ma'am.
And you heard Ms. Watkins' testimony. Do you object to a DNA test?
No, ma'am. There's no doubt in my mind my daughter's mine.
Do you object to the DNA test?
No, ma'am, I do not. I'm fully willing to do a DNA test. I have 3 other ones that I got 4 kids in total. Well, there's no doubt in my mind that my oldest daughter is mine. Especially when the other 3 look almost identical to her.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a 9-year-old, and so I'm very hesitant to order DNA because I'm supposed to look at the best interest of the child. And I've heard no testimony about this, but I'm going to make an assumption here and then ask you all some questions. I'm assuming for 9 years of her life, she thought Mr. Terrio is her dad and calls him dad. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Okay. Does she know of any other man as dad?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay.
Can I just say something? I mean, I understand that you're looking at the best interest of the child, but at the same time, the best interest of the child is also being able to be with me at the same time as being with him if he wants to be the father.
Okay, but we're not using DNA as a method to do that, ma'am. I'm going to listen to testimony when we get to that issue and figure out the other best interest of the child. Right now, the only issue before me is whether or not I'm going to order a DNA for a 9-year-old. Doesn't mean I'm not going to order visitation, doesn't mean I'm not going to order other things. It just, right now, that's what's before me. Okay, so I'm going to deny the request for genetic testing.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you all want to do with the rest of the case?
Ms. Watkins, are you ready to proceed today?
Yes.
Okay, nobody needs time to consult with a lawyer?
No.
I guess you can start. Is this a custody battle, though?
Your Honor, I believe there's some custody issues in this case.
Okay, I might or might not stay with me, so I'll let you begin, and it might have to be referred, depending on what's going on.
Yes, Your Honor. State calls Mr. Justin Terrio. Mr. Terrio, please state your full name.
Justin Matthew Terrio.
And Mr. Terrio, where does Gracie Terrio live?
My home address,
And what county is that?
Liberty County.
And how long has she been residing with you?
Since March of last year.
And what's the circumstances around why Gracie's currently residing with you?
Her mother's been going from hotel to hotel. She doesn't have a steady place to live. She has a job, or she does. She can't keep it more than a couple weeks away. Her and her boyfriend fight a lot, especially in front of the kids. I've had my daughter come home and tell me that her and her mommy threw a brick through the front window of their vehicle while they were in the vehicle. She's tried to smash out my window before while I was trying to take my daughter to visit her grandparents. She didn't want me to take her or what. She tried to break out the window with a log in that instant. She's had a couple of guys try to jump in my vehicle to stop me from leaving so she could get Gracie out of my vehicle. She showed up at my house numerous times.
Mr. Terrio, this is your answer is a little long and rambly. So, Mr. Monty, I'm going to give you a chance to like break some of this down so it makes a little more sense, and I have time frames. Ms. Watkins, do you need a moment to compose yourself?
I'm fine.
Okay, you may continue, but it's supposed, yeah, your answers aren't supposed to be quite that long. It's a little open-ended of a question, Mr. Monty.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm not sure if you answered the question either, because there's a lot of information, but I'm not sure it really answered what you're saying. Well, Mr. Terrio, let Mr. Monty ask you a question.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to offer into evidence as State Exhibit A, the acknowledgement of paternity in this case.
Okay, does anyone have any objection to me seeing the acknowledgement of paternity?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Watkins?
Sorry, what was that?
Mr. Monty would like to admit into evidence the acknowledgement of paternity that was signed by both of you.
Okay.
It's admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Terrio, you have safety concerns with Ms. Watkins?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a reason why your information should not be disclosed if there's an order today, such as your address, phone number?
I've contacted Liberty County. I've even put in a report. I'd have to get with them again to get the case number, but yes, ma'am. I don't want her here at my house because she showed up, tried to beat in my front door while I wasn't here during the birth of another child of mine. She showed up unannounced before and literally started problems in my driveway. It caused problems with my parents. She's literally caused problems over nothing. If she would have talked to me or what, it would have been a different story. But she's literally going.
If I can ask, Mr. Terrio, is there a criminal case?
Not at this time, no, ma'am.
But police have been called?
Mr. Monty, can we get Ms. Watkins? It's not your chance to speak yet. I guess. Oh, you know what? We went straight from there to here, so this is good. Let's take a pause for a moment, and I'm going to go over some other housekeeping items. Generally, in court, we take testimony where one of you is asked questions by the AAG at a time. If you're not the person being asked questions, unless you have a legal objection, please don't interrupt or answer for the other party. You're both going to be given a chance to be asked questions, and you're both going to be given a chance to speak. There is a risk in your case. I might pause this at some point and refer it to the district court, though, because the issues involved. But please don't interrupt the other person or answer for them. But please listen closely to what's being asked and just answer the direct question. Mr. Monty, if you can get some time frames, because I've heard a lot of stuff in this case, but I have no idea. And this is a 9-year-old. I don't know if we're talking about incidents from 9 years ago, 5 years ago, last month. I'm not sure what the time frames are.
Yes, Your Honor.
This has all been within the last 4 years.
You said police have been called, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
February 3rd, 2021. I was at the hospital, just had my son, and I had left my daughter and my other kids at the house with my mother. I get a phone call from my mother stating that Courtney Watkins and her boyfriend, and I'm guessing a relative of theirs, had showed up and were beating on my door and attempted to open the door with a pry bar.
And where was Gracie in 2021? Was she residing with Miss Watkins?
No, ma'am. At the time, we were sharing custody, but at the time of that incident, she was with me, and I denied her seeing her because she was in the process of a CPS deal where she had also been tested positive for assortment of drugs.
Is CPS involved with Gracie? Is there any CPS involvement?
Not at this time, ma'am. They didn't involve her in the case that I don't know if it's active or not. With Courtney, she had an active case with her other.
And so you testified earlier that Gracie came to live with you in March of 2023. Has there been police involvement since that time?
No, ma'am, and it was actually March of 2022.
So Gracie came to live with you in March of 2022.
Yes, ma'am. Shortly after her mom and them, they got evicted, whatever. I had to take custody of her so she could continue schooling in Dayton ISD. And that was back in 2021. And then in 2022, I took full custody of her because they were moving around so much she wasn't able to keep her and be reliable to get her to school.
And so since 2022, there has not been any police involvement?
No, ma'am, not at my residence. Went to the deal because she's made threatening comments towards my fiance girlfriend. I'm working on my divorce in the process, but my other half, she's made death threats to her, saying that she'd kill her or come slash her tires, whatever. Anyways, I went to the Liberty County police station and tried to file talk to an officer, and he took a report and gave me a case number or a reference
When was
number.
this?
Last year. I want to say June or July of last year. And he told me
Is there a protective order?
No, ma'am. He told me that I'd have to go to a court or get a lawyer to get a protective order. I tried to get a protective order on her, but my wife would have had to come forward, and she wasn't comfortable. She didn't feel comfortable stepping out like that. She didn't want to try to draw more attention to her or take a chance of putting my kids in danger because of the repercussions of the restraining order. We were afraid that Courtney would still try to go against them, or she'd have somebody else come and try to do something.
What do you mean by repercussions of a protective order? Is there a protective order in the case?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. My girlfriend was afraid that Courtney would try to either come and do something and repercussions of us taking out a restraining order or what, or something like that. I live probably 12 miles outside of Dayton, so it takes law enforcement roughly 20 minutes or so to get here. And that time she could cause harm to any person in the household or destroy stuff. So I just prefer not to, it's just too long of a police action time for it to be involved, because by the time they got here or what, she could already be gone and then in the wind, because nobody knows where she stays at. Like I said, she's been bouncing from hotel to hotel. Even her sisters ain't been able to keep in contact with her unless she's called or just showed up at their house.
Does she visit with Gracie at all?
No, ma'am.
When was the last time Miss Watkins saw Gracie?
Right around March of 2022.
Does she provide any financial support?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
When you say not at this time, did she do so in the past?
She had Medicaid and food stamps on her in the past. As far as I know, she's still carrying them on her because I ain't been able to get Medicaid on my daughter if I tried. Every time I try, they say she has an open case and that it names her mother as the parent or what. I've tried to contact them and human resources to let them know that she doesn't have Gracie. I have Gracie, and to proceed to that next step, but I haven't got into that yet.
When you say human resources, are you talking about your job?
No, ma'am. I don't know exactly. HAC or what?
Yes, sir.
Medicaid, food stamps.
Do you
They're
have
all.
any private insurance available?
Not at this time. I just switched jobs. I got laid off from my old company because they basically ran out of business. They didn't have no jobs going, so they laid me off. I just started up a new job and I'm still waiting on my 90 days. I've been there for about 3 weeks now, so I'm still waiting on them to allow me to get insurance. But yes, ma'am, I plan on having insurance on all my kids.
Are you asking for back child support on this case?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm not that kind of dad. I know my responsibilities. I took that on when I made my daughter. I fully accepted the facts, just like with the rest of my kids. No, ma'am. I am requesting child support from here on, or what, if this goes as far as custody or whatever.
Do you have safety concerns with Miss Watkins visiting with the child?
No, ma'am, not as long as they're supervised or at least with another family member of her choosing.
I couldn't hear the end of that. It kind of went out.
No, ma'am, I'm not against visitations. I've just, like I said, as long as it's a supervised visitations, that's fine with me. I just don't trust her with what my daughter's seeing and her come home and tell me that she's scared or what, and it becomes a problem with me. And yes, I feel it's the safety of my daughter. And I'd prefer her not to be alone with her mother or what, unless it was supervised.
I believe your original answer had something about who would do the supervision, but it kind of blipped out and I didn't hear what you said.
Yes, mom. Her supervision of her family, as far as her sister or family member of that nature, is fine with me. We've done it in the past with CPS. We had a CPS case where we were doing visitations, whatever, between us or what, and it was supervised, and it was her older sister Kelly Watkins that was doing the supervision.
So that CPS case was for this child, Gracie?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
I want to say 2020 or 2021. That was before all this was put into motion, Your Honor.
I don't know. What is all this? Do you mean this case?
Ma'am? Yes,
I don't know what you mean by all this. Did CPS do a placement plan? Like an informal placement? Or did you go to court?
At the time they did. Since then, that case has been closed.
Did it get closed because of the placement, though? Like, does anyone have the paperwork for the placement?
Not at this time, no, ma'am. I'd have to get in contact with child support office. I'm pretty sure I can request the paperwork.
May I continue, Judge?
You may continue. I'm not thrilled about proceeding without that paperwork, but okay.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Not right now, ma'am. Do you have the paperwork?
No, I just wanted to say that there is no paperwork. There was never anything said about where Gracie stays. I asked the caseworker, the case has been recently closed. I did
Okay,
ask.
ma'am, you're gonna get your chance to testify. My question to you is, do you have paperwork? You've answered that. You may proceed, Ms. Damani.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Terrio, you're okay with family members of Miss Watkins supervising the visit, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Her sister and her sister's wife. Them are the only two that I feel comfortable with my daughter being around. She stayed over at their house in the past. That's basically the only people out of her family that I feel comfortable with Gracie being over, and that I don't think would let anything happen in that way.
Okay, can we go back to the CPS case? What caused it? What happened? What?
She had CPS called on Miss Courtney. Courtney had CPS called on her for usage of drugs and stuff. When CPS went in and did their investigation, they had her tested and found out that she had tested positive for multiple drugs in her system along with alcohol, and made her do a drug course and a alcohol course. And at that time they put Gracie into my custody, and she had to be on supervised visits until she finished all of her stuff. And CPS deemed that it was safe for her to be able to go back to visiting her mom without supervised visitations. And as far as I know, Miss Courtney went through all the steps. She did all the processes and stuff. But I'm not exactly how long after that case was closed. They had another case opened against her on for her other kids, as far as I know. And I don't know exactly what happened with that one. I just know I had CPS contact me asking me if I knew where Courtney was, or if I had any way of contacting her or knew about her whereabouts, because they were trying to find her so they could do a follow-up investigation with her. Like I said, I can get a hold of the child support office and request that documentation. It's not a problem.
Do you mean the CPS, HHSC, or?
Yes, ma'am.
So by the end of your CPS case, though, she was having unsupervised visitation with Gracie.
Yes, ma'am. The final few weeks, yes, ma'am. She was allowed unsupervised visitation with her. Had no problems with that. They had gotten into a trailer. I'd started letting Gracie go over there on the weekends, doing weekend visits or stays with her mom, until my daughter come home and told me that they didn't have no water on and a couple other things. And that's when I decided that I wasn't going to allow my daughter back over there due to her safety and her well-being.
She didn't call CPS.
Well, no, not at that time. I just removed my daughter from that situation. I asked her if she wanted to go back. She told me no. I didn't make her go back.
You may continue, Ms. Damani.
Thank you, Your Honor. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
State calls Miss Courtney Watkins. Miss Watkins, please state your full name.
Courtney Joe Watkins.
And Miss Watkins, do you recall when Gracie started residing with Mr. Terrio?
I believe it was the beginning of maybe January 2023.
And have you
around that time.
And have you visited with Gracie since then?
I haven't seen Gracie. I'm sorry. I haven't seen Gracie since Mother's Day of last year.
So when you saw her on Mother's Day, how did that visit go?
It went really well. I taught her how to ride her bike that day.
And do you know when the CPS case was closed?
I'm sorry, it was closed, it's November, it had to be closed around September.
September of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
So the second case was closed September of this year.
Yes, ma'am. If I'm not mistaken, yes.
So just a few months ago, like recently. So September 2024, like 2 months ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And this case that was just closed involved Gracie?
No. They, I had actually asked them to make her a part of the case. Just for the simple fact that she was my daughter, and I felt like her being a part of the case, at least I would have, maybe they could do something about him not letting me see her. And they told me that since that, damn it, they told me since she wasn't in their jurisdiction, which was Harris County, the county I'm in, they told me that since she wasn't in Harris County, that she was in Liberty County, that she couldn't be part of the case because she wasn't in their jurisdiction. Which didn't make sense to me because I thought that it didn't matter which jurisdiction your kid was in, that if that was your kid, they were part of the case also, but.
And
I don't
when
know.
was the CPS case that involved Gracie closed?
The one that involved Gracie, that was closed, March,
March of what year?
sorry, okay. I'm trying to remember because my son is 3 now, and I had just got pregnant with my son in 2021, so it had to be closed. I think it was closed April 2021. Yeah.
And
No.
what is the reason?
March of 2021. That's right. Yes, ma'am.
And what is the reason you haven't seen Gracie since Mother's Day of 23?
He basically has no contact with me at all. When I do try to contact him, the only way I have to contact him is through Messenger, and I'm blocked 90% of the time. He recently just unblocked me, and I seen that I was unblocked, so I sent him a message, and got no reply.
And why did CPS get involved in the case with Gracie?
Because I believe a neighbor had called or something and said that they went into our apartment, and when they went in our apartment, there was alcohol and beer cans and marijuana all over the place, and so that's why. But I mean, it wasn't as bad as they made it seem to CPS, but I mean, CPS did get involved, and they did, she did get placed with Justin for that period of time, which I don't even remember how long it was. I believe a little over a year. But I did all the classes and everything, to be able to be with her again and everything. And then, they ended up closing that case also.
So right now there's no open CPS case on any of your children?
No. But at the end, I don't know if Justin still has an open CPS case, But at the end of my CPS case in 2021, when I got my closing letter from CPS saying that my case was closed, I had a social worker, or my social worker actually asked me, I guess, cause they talk or whatever, the social workers talk or whatever. He asked me, if I was okay with Gracie still being in Justin's home because, they had just opened a case against them. And, I believe it was due to marijuana is what he said. And so they asked me if I wanted, so my case was closing, and as my case closed, his was opening, and they asked me if it was okay for Gracie to still be over there, even though they had the case open. And I said, yeah, that it was okay. I didn't want her, I didn't want to take her, and I never wanted, I still wouldn't, I wouldn't do that, you know, anyway.
If the judge were to order supervised visits today, do you have someone that would be able to supervise the visits?
Most likely, yes, ma'am.
And who would supervise the visits?
Probably my sister. I mean, if she's even able, I mean, they work a lot and she has a lot going on with her life, and my other sister, that's a whole nother story. I mean, she just got custody of our other sister's 12-year-old son, and she works and her wife works. So I mean, I don't know. They're busy a lot. So I mean, I don't work. They're busy. So I don't know how that would work. Or even, you know, if they would be okay with it. Which I'm sure they would be okay with it. It's just finding the time for them to be able to do it.
Miss Watson,
But
do you work?
no, ma'am, not at this moment.
When was the last time you worked?
I worked last year at Subway.
And do you have any private insurance available for Gracie?
No, ma'am.
Why did you stop working?
Moving, the hurricane and everything, the trailer that we were living in got, really bad, messed up by the hurricane and everything. So we lost a lot.
May I continue, Judge?
You may.
Miss Watkins, do you provide support for any other children?
I have a 3-year-old son that lives with me.
Any court-ordered obligation?
No.
You just have the 2 children, Gracie and your son?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the state doesn't represent either of you. So as I said, I'm going to give you each a chance to speak. If there's something in particular you're requesting from me, please let me know. I guess I'll start with Mr. Terrio.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay. Ms. Watkins, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yes. There's a lot I want to say. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. Justin, he's not a bad dad. I'm not gonna sit here and bash him and say he's a bad dad because he's not. But what he's doing is not okay. And really, it's not even only affecting me. I mean, you can see how I feel, tell how I feel. Imagine how my 8-year-old daughter feels. Not understanding why she can't see her mom. And I'm sure they don't talk good about me around her. But besides all that, I just don't, like I said, he's not a bad dad, but he talks about me and say, okay, I go here, there, and everywhere in hotels. Okay, whatever, say what you want about me. But he lives with his mom and his wife or his girlfriend with their 5 or 6 children. And they all sleep in one bedroom. Gracie's, I'm pretty sure, still probably sleeping in a toddler bed. And she's a big girl. For 8, she's in a size 14, 16. So, and she's still sleeping in a toddler bed. And it's just like, I don't know. I just don't, I know there's nothing you can do about her, about the situation since he has custody and everything. He basically has custody and that's what it is. But I feel like she should be with me instead. I mean, she's gone to school smelling like kids have made fun of her. The teacher asked her if she showers, if they bathe her.
How do you know that, ma'am?
How do I know that?
Yeah.
From Gracie and which I believe that was her 1st grade year. She's in 2nd grade now. But and then my family, he talks to my family members and my family members told me, and also from Gracie. But my main concern is her sleeping in the same room with Justin and his girlfriend and their 5 or 6 kids. I mean, it's just not, that's not okay. And actually, I did report it to CPS and they basically told me, they were like, you're calling CPS on him for your daughter sleeping in a toddler bed still. And I was like, that's not, like, they made it seem like it was a stupid reason to call, but it really wasn't, not to me.
Can I object on that, Honor?
What's your legal objection?
The statement's not true.
Okay, it's not a legal objection, so I'm going to overrule your objection. You'll get a chance to speak, and you may continue, ma'am.
And as far as, there was not, I feel like CPS should have done something about that. At least like told him, hey, put her in a bigger bed. Or get her out of that room with all of y'all, like that's not okay. But besides that, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to spend time with my daughter without my family members there. I don't even see why he's asking for supervised visitations, really, because I feel like he's already done enough damage, you know? I don't know. I don't think that's I just don't think that's even right for him to ask for supervised visitations. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Terrio, is there something you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am. As of want to say July of last year, I took over this residence I'm staying in. My parents moved out. They live in decided to move into a travel trailer because my dad travels a lot for work. He's always offshore or whatever, so they take the trailer down there close to where he's at. Uh, at the time, no, we're not staying all in the same room. I have a 3-bedroom house right now. My kids are staying in the big secondary bedroom. It has a partition wall in between it. The girls are on one side, the boys are on the other. All accordance with CPS. They've come out and checked it. Like she said, they've come out and checked, had no issues. And we stay in the master bedroom or what. And then the third bedroom is occupied by my nephew, but hopefully that'll be available soon, but different story. But as far as her being smelly, sneaky, I know, ma'am, she's never went to school. She gets a bath every night. I was constantly, right now, she's making straight A's in school. She's even joined the choir club or choir class and been doing choir for the last 3 months. Anyways, so I don't know where she's getting these accusations or statements that she's going to school smelly, whatever, because trust me, I wouldn't even allow that. But as far as the housing situation, I have more than enough room for all my kids plus us, and can probably add one more if needed to, which might happen, but that's a different story.
Okay. So, sir, why do you want supervised visitation for your child?
Because I don't trust Courtney.
To do what? What do you think she's going to do to the child?
She's in the past put my daughter in harm's way. She's
How?
smashed a brick through one of their vehicle windows with them in the vehicle. Had report Gracie's come home and told me that Courtney and her boyfriend were arguing so bad that she had to take her little brother and they literally walked down the street to the neighbor's house to get away from it because they were arguing and fighting. I don't trust her around I don't trust my daughter around him or them due to the fact that they're constantly getting into arguments or getting into physical arguments with my daughter around and taking a chance of my daughter getting hurt.
And ma'am, is that boyfriend that he's referring to the father of your son?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you live with him?
We live together, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and CPS closed the case.
Yes.
And why, sir, haven't you let her see Gracie since Mother's Day last year?
Up until recently, I ain't had no contact with her. She says that she's been blocked. Now, my phone number's been the same since 2010. She knows my phone number. She's even called it a few times and asked to talk to Gracie. I've even let her talk to Gracie on several occasions in the past, not within the last 2 years, year and a half, since March of 2022. It's just when she tries to call, my daughter's either at school or not here. And when my daughter gets home, let her know, and she's not affected by it. She'd rather go play or go read. She don't want to talk on the phone, like she don't want to talk to her. I've asked Gracie.
I can't
don't want to talk right now.
you.
When my daughter comes to me and tells me that she's scared to go over there because her mom and her boyfriend are always fighting, I genuinely take into my daughter's consideration. Okay, if she's scared, then I'm not going to make her go somewhere.
You're such a liar, Justin. That's why Kelly told me that Gracie was crying and asking for me, begging to come see me.
Mr. Monty, do you have any visitation requests, or not visitation, child support requests?
Yes, Your Honor. We asked the court to base child support on minimum wage presumption with credit for one child in the household, and for an order for government help plan with a cash medical of $25 a month and child support at $198 per month. We asked the court for a ruling on non-disclosure and a ruling on court costs.
Are you in the part of Harris County near Liberty County? Are you closer to Katy? Are you closer to Webster? Are you in the middle? The north?
Baytown. I don't know if you know where Baytown is.
Okay, yeah, so you're close to Liberty. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to make my ruling. I'm going to remind you all, either of you can file a de novo appeal of this if you wish. And I want to just remind you all that this is not CPS court. It sounds like, well, you both definitely know how to reach CPS, and you might in the future have to as well. You know, some of these issues are going to come up again. You obviously both have rocky histories with each other, but CPS has been involved. They've done far more of an investigation than the AG's office would ever do. And so at some point, you know, that testimony weighs greatly to me, what CPS did and didn't find. And I know they're not perfect. I know they make mistakes as well. But they are there looking out for the best interests of the child. And so all that being said, I'm going to appoint Mr. Terrio and Ms. Watkins joint managing conservators, with Mr. Terrio having the right to determine the primary residence of Gracie within Liberty and any county that touches Liberty. I'm ordering mom visitation through a standard possession order. I'm not ordering supervised visits. I'm ordering the exchange at the Dayton Police Department. I'm granting Mr. Terrio's request for a non-disclosure, and I'm ordering that the parties communicate with app close. I don't believe it lets people block. Now you could drop the app close, but it is a court order that you use it. It does keep the communication, I think forever, and it's something you could print out if you needed to. So if you needed to show it to the police or CPS or a district attorney, you could. Hopefully that would help keep both of you from doing anything that would be offensive and something that any of those entities would want to look at. But just remember, your communications can be seen by other people. They can't just pull them up, but they can request them, because this order, you know, is public record, and they'll see that you're ordered to communicate through that. Because I'm granting the non-disclosure, I'm ordering the app close. I'm ordering, I'm finding that there's no access to private health insurance at this time, so I'm ordering that Mr. Terrio provide government or medical assistance program. I'm ordering that Ms. Watkins pay to him cash medical support of $25 each month beginning December 1st of 2024. I'm ordering child support, that Ms. Watkins pay to Mr. Terrio child support of $198 each month beginning December 1st of 2024. I'm not ordering any back child support, and I'm ordering that Ms. Watkins pay court costs to Liberty County by November 12th of 2025.
What are the, can I ask you a question? I'm sorry.
You can ask, I'm not sure I can answer it or not.
What are the court costs?
I'm really not sure. It's Liberty County orders them. It's usually a few $100s. You'd have to get with the county.
Okay, well, I'll have to call. I'll have to contact.
Sir, if you could stop smoking, please. It looks like there's cigarette smoke. This is court. You can't smoke in a courtroom.
So
Okay.
they'll be in contact with me, or do I need to be in contact
You
with
probably
them?
need to get in contact with them. I don't know that they'll reach out to you.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, if I may, the Dayton Police Department, is there only one address? I just want to make sure of that. I'm not familiar with that area.
If you Google it, I think only one shows up. Why don't you try?
I found 2004 North Cleveland Street, Dayton,
Yep.
Texas. Is that
Sounds
fine?
correct.
Mr. Terrio, you're the one who actually lives in Dayton. Do you know of any other police station?
No, ma'am, they only have one, and it's off of North Cleveland Street, 321. It's right there next to the fire department.
Thank you, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Sounds good. So the AG's office is going to draft the order based on my ruling today, and they will send it to you through DocuSign to review and sign. Oh, actually, they'll send it to me through DocuSign to review and sign off on, and then they'll send you a copy for your records.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you both for coming in, and good luck with everything going forward.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
She's lying about that.
Sir,
I'm
I'm
sorry
gonna
to say that. I'm sorry to say that, but she's lying about that. And you
I'm gonna
believe in
sh-
everything she says.